From the WJET 24 studio, this is the 2015 State of the County Address by Kathy Dahlkemper.
Hello, and thank you for joining me for the State of the County Address. And a very special thank you to WJET 24 for hosting this telecast. It is with great pleasure and enthusiasm that I'm here to share with you the path we've been on this past year, and most importantly, where we are headed in 2015. One thing is very clear. In every part of this county, from Albion to Corry, Enboro to Erie, we agree on many things. We all have things about this area that we love. We all want our region to be vibrant. We all want to make the most of our resources. And we all want Erie County to be resilient. When I took the oath of office, I pledged to 1, develop a model county government, a government that uses your tax dollars wisely, efficiently, and poises us for the future. 2, to foster a culture of collaboration. And 3, to create an environment of opportunity. Today, I'm pleased to report that we have made great strides in these areas and will continue to do so. In the past year, collaboration and partnerships have been integral to our internal and external accomplishments and will serve as the path to our success in 2015. Just a year ago, many would say that we were a county that was stagnant and steeped in complacency. Well, this is no longer true. By working with private and public partners, we are moving this county forward. Together, we are building a brighter future, one full of optimism and opportunity. True collaboration is what will lead Erie County into the future. It will be the foundation for our destination toward a model county. Now, everyone talks about an efficient government, but delivering one is critical for so many reasons, and most notably, that these are your tax dollars that you have entrusted to us. We must use them wisely to deliver services and create an environment that will allow for investment and job growth. From the very first day, we began creating a new culture in our government operations and are now experiencing dramatic savings because we eliminated waste and duplication. These tough decisions will help us maintain momentum and will pay dividends for years to come. As an example, we brought in new directors at lower salaries than previously budgeted, increased employee contributions to wages and fringe benefits, established a rule of 3 for quotes on anything over $100, and our general accounting is moving toward a paperless accounts payable system. We are saving money through cooperative purchasing and established the Department of Procurement and a position of Director of Procurement as a separate division of our operations. In addition, we increased efforts to pursue more grants and fees for service. Soon after I took office, I challenged my department directors to break down internal barriers. Many developed ideas on how they could work together for not only greater efficiency, but for better results. One example is that public defenders now have an office in the prison, making it easier and more efficient to represent their clients. This seems simple enough, but until the warden and chief public defender talked to one another, simple solutions like this did not occur. The service we provide to the public must be efficient and responsive. In order to be effective in the community, we must work well internally. It's hard to believe, but we did not have a county information technology department. Instead, employees were scattered at various buildings without a common mission, vision, and goals. So I worked closely with County Council to establish the IT department. Under the leadership of the new director, we have implemented cost-saving measures, integration, and improvements to our infrastructure. These efficient technologies, combined with the cross-training of staff, improve our overall IT process countywide. Let me reassure you, your government is running better than ever. This past year, we have seen similar successes beyond the walls of the courthouse. Our culture of collaboration was the catalyst for for the Summer Jobs and More pilot program in 2014. Nearly 25% of young adults under the age of 18 in Erie County live in poverty. So in early 2014, the county led a shared effort to address the issue by improving job readiness skills, career exploration, and increasing employment opportunities for our youth. Working with 32 employers, 123 participants, ages 16 to 21, who began the program, we had 117 successfully complete their 6-week placement. Now, this is a 95% rate of completion. I think that figure alone lets us know that our youth want to be productive, they want to be inspired, and they want to learn. The pilot program paved the way for continued expansion. And in fact, plans for 2015 are underway and include increasing participation of youth, the number of employers, the funding sources, and private sector placement. In order to keep our youth engaged as they grow and mature into adults, we must have a strong workforce investment plan in place. So over the last 14 months, I have worked diligently to support the reorganization of the Workforce Investment Board and have been successful at reprioritizing the energy and efforts of this large, often misunderstood organization. With the announcement of a $3 million grant to provide job-driven training to adults throughout Northwest Pennsylvania, the Workforce Innovation Fund will expand and enhance innovative workforce development strategies. This is an excellent opportunity to match employer needs with the needs of the unemployed and the underemployed, thus increasing access to family-sustaining wages and careers. Partnerships are being forged across academia to assist in curriculum development and implementation. We must ensure our workforce investment plan leads to jobs, that it truly serves the needs of Erie County, and that our citizens are prepared to step into a family-sustaining career path. Investments in our economy, our youth, and our community are paramount to effective, efficient government. But no investment may be more important than the one we make in public safety. Our Public Safety Department is moving forward on creating a single-band radio solution serving all law enforcement, fire, and emergency management personnel. For too many years, this issue has been left unresolved. This inaction endangers not only our public safety personnel, but you as citizens. Erie County must lead the way in addressing this community concern. I know it's expensive, but it's imperative that your first responders can talk to other first responders in times of emergency or the unthinkable. Our colleagues on County Council also recognize the importance of public safety and have adopted a resolution to move this project forward, and I thank them for that. Working from our common values is already paying off. Destination Erie has been a starting point for improving our habit of talking with one another. More than 3,000 people from the community participated in creating the Destination Erie Vision, a plan made by and for the residents of Erie County that will guide our course of action over the next 25 years. The guiding principle of Destination Erie is that Erie County is our home. We are committed to protecting it, preserving it, and advancing its quality of life. Because this is our home, we have common ground to stand on while we envision, plan, and pursue the destination that we all want for Erie County and the region. We know the world is changing. It's a challenging place, and we believe strongly that we are better when we face these challenges together. Being at the forefront of new opportunities is critical to our future, and it's important that we consider all viable options and embrace new ideas. So in December, we held a public meeting to explore the possibility of pursuing the designation of a national marine sanctuary. And marine sanctuaries are places of national significance and waters that preserve the extraordinary scenic beauty, biodiversity, historical connections, and economic productivity of our oceans and Great Lakes. A sanctuary would play a critical role in preserving shipwrecks and cultural artifacts that keep American maritime history alive in our region. Sanctuaries are not only for preservation, but they also provide a natural classroom for our students, for residents and visitors. Becoming designated can have a strong local economic impact on coastal dependent economies, such as diving, commercial and recreational fishing, research and tourist activities, and extend beyond to our hotels and our restaurants. According to a regional 2005 study on total visitor spending, the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary in Michigan, the only one in the Great Lakes, impacts $92 million in sales, $35.8 million in personal income to its residents, $51.3 million in value added, and 1,704 jobs. So plans are underway to submit an application to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration for the designation of the Lake Erie Quadrangle National Marine Sanctuary. We are working closely with NOAA for guidance, as well as collaborating with QLN and other media to further educate the public. Our goal for submission is March of 2015. This is a priority for our region, and I am determined to see that we are awarded this critical designation. We've spent the last year evaluating our ability to once again be a county that creates new industries. The Innovation Collaborative's Jumpstart Assessment revealed we must improve the entrepreneurial ecosystem of the region by promoting and supporting entrepreneurship. We must expand our conventional approaches to attract and retain more businesses. The Milken Institute's recent report illustrated the best performing cities possess innovation advantage, a balance of talent and technology where one tech job generates nearly 4 other jobs. Most importantly, we know that our financial and social challenges are best addressed by developing local strategies to foster high-quality jobs. Growing more businesses equates to more jobs, which equals a strengthened, vibrant economy. Your public library will play a role in this growth. We are redefining the services in our county library system to meet current and future needs. It's widely acknowledged that the role of public libraries is changing. They are becoming more people and service-centered. We've researched different models of services that other libraries are employing, everything from media studios to technology and idea labs, all in the name of experiential learning. The Blasco Memorial Library Idea Lab can and will be a necessary component of building a strong, enriched community. Our larger vision is for an expansive, multi-component project that will ultimately be a state and potentially a national model. After all, education is the most basic building block of any strong community. These are all pieces of the puzzle that we must put together to build our future. We will not automatically fall back to the way we have always done things. We'll be innovative in our approach. We will go forward as a team, united with that common vision that Erie is a special place that can be all that we believe it to be. We must always look ahead to cultivate an economy that will not just retain young people, but attract entrepreneurs and families. Exciting projects are already happening all over the county. The Bayfront Development Project is a perfect example of where we combined our efforts and found a solution that works for everyone. The Convention Center Authority and Scott Enterprises are 2 very important entities that can have a significant impact on our future. These projects stand to create hundreds of new jobs for the region. While one of these projects is a large public project, there are plenty more across this county, from KLN in Waterford that recently hired 150 new workers to the small entrepreneur who's opening up their shop and starting with 3 or 4 new workers. All of these employers are additional pieces to the puzzle that are changing the trajectory of our county. We need to stay focused on the future, on our vision to create the best conditions possible for the private sector to grow and thrive, and to create the ecosystems that will nurture new businesses. I look forward to working closely with our key stakeholders, private industries, and our state and federal legislators to foster an economic development culture rooted in collaboration, rebuilding relationships, and realizing our region's potential as a hub for business and technology. It is the mission of your county government to be a strong economic development partner. Erie is our home. We all want our region to be vibrant. We all want to make the most of our resources, and we all want Erie County to be resilient. My pledge to you is that I will continue to work hard to allow our children and our grandchildren to call Erie County home, because we have created a region of opportunity, vibrancy, and unity. Thank you for joining me.
Welcome back. You just heard the 2015 State of the County Address from Erie County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper. County Executive Dahlkemper now joining us with the rest of the half hour for a question and answer as we delve a little deeper into some of the topics that are now facing Erie County.
Well, let's start off first by asking County Executive Dahlkemper, how do you feel you've done in the past year?
Well, it's been a really busy year. People ask me how I like the job, and I tell them I really do love this job because I'm here in my community trying to make a difference every day. And I think when you look back at what we've accomplished over the past years, a lot of it has been internal, but there's been a lot of external things that we've gotten involved in. And we've really moved this county forward in many different ways. Certainly with some of the internal things, such as the IT director, the procurement director, and changing some of those internal systems. But when you look on the external, the WIB, the Workforce Investment Board, that has been a huge project that I've been involved in for the last, actually before I even took office, 14 months now. When you look at being involved in the solution down at the Bayfront, when there was the hotel that the Convention Center Authority wanted to build, and the Scots, and really had come to an impasse. And I got involved in that and helped to move the conversation forward. And we found a solution. And now, of course, the hotel is being built, and Scots will soon be building on their property. So there's been a number of those type of things that we've gotten involved with from my administration that I think have been very helpful in terms of moving the county forward.
Well, obviously, you're no stranger to public life. You had a term in Congress. Now, of course, county executive. Working at the courthouse, completely different animal from Washington, though. What was your biggest surprise in year one?
Oh, gosh, I think one of the biggest surprises was in some ways how similar it is to Congress, and the fact that every day I'm dealing with something different hour by hour. I might be, talking about public safety one moment, and then now I'm talking about economic development the next moment. And that was similar to how things were when I was in Congress. But I think maybe the biggest surprise just from the county as a whole is just how people really do want to see things change. They really do want to see a brighter future, and they're willing to help make that happen in lots of different ways.
Well, I know one thing a lot of people in Erie would like to see change, the tax structure and how we're taxed, and the burden on the taxpayers. Any movement in that on your part?
Well, that burden really is dealt with on the state level. When it comes to property taxes, that's what most people are talking about, and that really has to be a change that would happen on the state level in the state legislature. And really, as a county, we don't have the ability. We try to keep taxes down as much as we can, but we do have things we have to do that we are mandated to do as county government. And so, we're going to continue to work to control our costs to keep the taxes as low as we can. But to change the system would really take a fix.
You may not be able to change the system, but I assume you could throw your political weight behind something that you liked. At this point, are you in favor of tax reform? And if so, what kind of reform would you like to see?
Well, I haven't seen a proposal come through that really seems to solve this issue. But I do think it's something that all of us need to talk to our legislators about, and to see what kind of fix there would be. I mean, it would have to come. You still have to pay for things. You still have to find a tax in some way. So do you put a tax on goods in some way? Do you allow some other type of tax that would be statewide that would bring in the kind of revenue that we're talking about for the municipalities, for the school districts, for the county government? Because we all depend on this property tax, and we know how burdensome it can be. But I have not seen a proposal yet that I would say I would get behind.
Well, and then the State House right now, they're trying to push through the, tax-exempt properties because Erie, that's a big problem in Erie, but we're not alone in that. And that is an issue now I believe the Republicans are trying to push through now in the state legislature.
Well, I don't think the state legislature should have control of determining what properties are tax exempt and which ones aren't. It becomes too political. And so I think it should stay in the hands of the judiciary, and therefore, hopefully, it is less political and really is done on a case-by-case basis and equitable for all of the tax-paying citizens.
Let's talk about jobs, if we could, a little bit here. Obviously, jobs are at or near the top of just about everyone's priority list when you ask. You spoke of the summer jobs program during your address. Big success there. 117, I think, out of 123 graduating from the program. Remarkable. But what's being done about the current workforce? We understand the need to cultivate the future workforce. What's being done to help out the current workforce as they struggle to find family-sustaining, household-sustaining jobs?
Well, that continues to be obviously a huge issue in our community. And as I mentioned, I've been involved trying to get the Workforce Investment Board back to doing what it should be doing, and that's training those who are underemployed and unemployed for the jobs that are out there. Many businesses tell me they can't find qualified people. They have jobs. They're worried about those who are retiring. A lot of the people who work in factories are getting close to retirement age, and they have to replace those people with some qualified workers. So we need to be able to train our workers and making sure that we have a workforce investment area that is strong and vibrant. And it was not when I took office. So we've been working over this past year to really try to revive that and bring it up to the standards that all of us expect. And again, with that $3 million increase from the federal government, that will be very helpful in getting us to really see where those needs are and try to align that better. Beyond that, we've got to make sure that all of our economic development organizations are working well together, and that also was not happening in the past. So trying to build those relationships, put down our personal agendas or egos, and really find ways to work together to attract new businesses, to make sure that our businesses that are here are supported by the economic development community. And then that last piece, which I talked about, and that's the entrepreneurial piece. Our community grew because of entrepreneurs. Whether we're talking about the Hertz, whether we're talking about the Barons, whether we're talking about the Zerns, the Lords, that is how our community grew. We've lost our entrepreneurial spirit, and that Jumpstart report showed that. So we've got to rebuild that spirit because we know that most new jobs in this country are created by new businesses.
Yeah, I just want to follow up quickly on that because I wanted to talk about that entrepreneurship. There's the new Innovation Collaborative out there. We also, though, got some bad news, being number 2 on a list of declining communities. It's one thing to say that we need more entrepreneurship. How do we spark that?
Well, obviously, I think what the Innovation Collaborative is doing is good because what they are doing is focusing every day on the entrepreneur and then working with our universities, with our other economic development entities to make sure that the entrepreneur is supported. And many entrepreneurs have told me that they have trouble in Erie finding the support they need to take that business. You also, as I talked about the library, and what our library will do is we put this idea lab in there. It's going to become a meeting place. Entrepreneurs can come there to meet each other, to bounce ideas off of each other, to find the information that they need. The library is going to become much more of a vibrant life force within that entrepreneurial community. So we know that things are bad. We saw the Milken report. We've seen the study from Jumpstart. And so now is certainly the time. It's really past time, but we've got to move some point, and we're going to move forward and try to help encourage that entrepreneurism. And our universities are doing a great job, but we've got to do better. They've got incubators. They've got other pieces to the entrepreneurial puzzle that they're working on. But we've got to do better, and that's where I think a group like the Innovation Collaborative can help drive that.
Now, this past year with the budget, we had to dip into the reserves in order to pass a budget that did not increase taxes. What's the implication for that in the long term for the county?
Well, unfortunately, those expenses will be there next year. These are ongoing expenses, and it happened in the last year of the Grossman administration. They also dipped into the reserve fund, and that's one reason why I asked for a tax increase this year, because that figure grows every year because expenses grow. So I'm concerned about our long-term health fiscally because we have a reserve fund now, which is obviously important as you're looking at borrowing for this radio project, and we want to keep a bond rating that is good, that will cost us less to borrow money. And if we keep on dipping into the reserve fund, that's going to affect our long-term ability to borrow, and will cost the taxpayers more money in the long run.
Well, when you talk about the radio project, though, a lot of people asking, can we afford it?
I don't think we can afford not to do it. And I'll tell you why. Most people maybe don't understand this. But you take the fire that happened in Erie in the late fall when 3 houses on Lighthouse Street burned down. The the Lawrence Park Fire Department came in to assist the Erie Department in this very large fire situation. Those 2 companies could not talk to each other. So the assistant chief from the Erie Fire Department had to run up the street to tell the chief from Lawrence Park that they needed more water out of the hydrant. These kind of situations happen all the time in our community. We have firefighters inside a burning building. They cannot talk to someone outside the building to tell them they need assistance. We have people coming to help their elderly in nursing homes and in large apartment buildings, and they can't talk to anyone outside of the building. So this radio system is something, it's been a combination of systems brought together from the 1970s, and it doesn't work. And if we had had the snowstorm that hit Buffalo, hit our region, we would have seen a collapse of that system. This is at a dire point in its life, and we have got to do something about it. It really is a matter of life and death, certainly for our citizens and really for our first responders.
Let me talk about something that the president kind of put in the spotlight recently, and that is the whole issue of community colleges and his idea to help fund educations through community colleges. Obviously, it was a priority of your predecessor to create one here. It didn't work out for him. But do you think this is an idea that needs to be revisited in Erie County?
Well, I've always been a supporter of a community college here in Erie County. In fact, when I was in Congress, I voted for a lot of funding that went to community colleges, hoping that we would have one here so we could take advantage of some of that federal funding. Unfortunately, it did not happen. And I don't think in the current climate we're going to see a community college that we had thought in that, in that type of position come forward. But what I am hopeful for is this rural community college that has come forth, and it's going to cover Erie County as well as numerous other counties in the northern part of the state. We have a representative from Erie County, Mary Beulah, on their board, and we're going to see how that comes forward. They've got a year to put together the plan for that and how Erie County can become involved in that, and it will help all of our students. And then I also thank the Perico College for coming forth with an alternative that is certainly serving many of our students.
County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper, we thank you so much for insight on this year, and we will see what happens in the next year.
All right, and thank you very much for joining us for the 2015 State of the County Address and our question and answer session with Erie County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper. For all of us here at JET 24 Action News, thank you.
This has been State of the County Address. Thank you for watching.